She survived a 400-pound diagnosis that doctors said could kill her. She fought her way through surgery, through public humiliation, through years of cameras following her into her lowest, most vulnerable moments. And now, in the summer of 2026, Tammy Slaton, one half of the most talked-about sister duo in reality television history, is once again at the center of a firestorm that has fans, family members, and former friends of the show reacting in real time. This is not a story about a single headline. This is a story about a family that built an empire out of honesty, out of raw, unfiltered struggle, and what happens when that same honesty turns the cameras and the internet against one of their own. Tonight, we are breaking down exactly what is confirmed, what is speculation, and what it means for Tammy Slaton, for her sister Tammy, and for a family that millions of Americans feel like they've watched grow up in front of their own eyes. Stay with us, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand not just what happened, but why it happened, why the timing matters, and why this family's story is far from over. To understand why any development involving Tammy Slaton generates this level of attention, you have to understand where she started. When TLC's 1,000 Pound Sisters premiered back in January 2020, Tammy Slaton was introduced to American audiences as a woman living with severe obesity, weighing over 400 pounds, and facing a medical reality that was, in blunt terms, life-threatening. She appeared alongside her sister, Tammy Slaton, and together the two Kentucky natives became the emotional core of one of TLC's most watched franchises. Side index equals 2-1. When TLC viewers first met her in 2020, Tammy Slaton weighed over 400 pounds. Side index equals 2-1. Tammy and her sister Tammy had a combined weight of over 1,000 pounds when the show began, and both needed to lose weight in order to qualify for bariatric surgery. That single fact set the entire tone for the series. This wasn't a show about vanity or lifestyle content. This was a show about two sisters trying to survive their own bodies, in front of the entire country. Amy's story initially moved faster than Tammy's. Side index equals 1-1. Amy underwent bariatric surgery and lost over 120 pounds, which helped her achieve her dream of becoming a mother. Side index equals 1-1. She married Michael Halterman in 2019, and the couple welcomed two sons, Gage and Glenn. For a woman who had been told her weight made pregnancy dangerous, if not impossible. Becoming a mother wasn't just a personal milestone. It became one of the most emotionally resonant storylines in the show's history. Fans watched Amy go from a woman doctors worried might not survive her own health complications to a wife and mother building a family of her own. But reality television rarely gives its subjects a clean, permanent happy ending, and the Slaton family's story is no exception. Side index equals 1-1. Amy and Michael's marriage faced challenges, which ultimately led to a split in 2023. For a couple who had become fan favorites specifically because of how supportive and stable their relationship appeared on camera. The divorce came as a genuine shock to the show's audience. According to reporting from outlets covering the family, side index equals 9-1. Amy and Michael went through what has been described as a very difficult and messy divorce in 2023. Side index equals 9-1. The two now share custody of their two children. And while their relationship has clearly gone through visible strain on camera, there have also been side index equals 9-1. Signs reported by entertainment outlets that the former couple has since found more stable, cooperative footing as co-parents. This matters for understanding the current moment, because Amy's personal life has never existed in a vacuum. Every relationship decision, every custody arrangement, every new partner she has introduced to the show has become instant, nationwide conversation. Not because tabloid media manufactured interest out of nothing, but because millions of viewers had spent years emotionally invested in her journey toward the family life she always said she wanted. Site index equals 1-1. In Season 7 of 1,000 Pound Sisters, Amy introduced a new boyfriend, Brian Scott Levorn, to the show. The relationship was from the outset described by outlets covering the family as complicated. Side index equals 8-1. Some entertainment coverage at the time raised concerns about specific requests Brian reportedly made within the relationship/site, which fans and commentators online characterized as a possible red flag. while others in the fanbase defended the relationship as simply unconventional rather than concerning. Regardless of where individual viewers landed on that debate, the relationship became a significant storyline heading into later seasons. By the most recent reporting available, site index equals 3-1, Amy Slaton had become engaged to Brian Levorn/site, with entertainment coverage describing site index equals 3-1, an unconventional proposal that took place roughly 5 months into their relationship/site that pace. Engagement within months of going public is itself part of why this relationship has drawn so much scrutiny from both fans and, according to multiple reports, from Amy's own family members, who have reportedly expressed concern about the speed of the relationship on camera. No conversation about Amy Slaton is complete without her sister, Tammy, because the emotional backbone of 1,000-pound sisters has never really been about weight loss surgery or medical procedures. It has always been about the relationship between two sisters who love each other fiercely and, just as often, clash just as fiercely. But the sisters' relationship with each other has not always kept pace with their individual triumphs. According to multiple entertainment outlets covering Season 8, site index equals 5-1, Tammy and Amy went through a significant feud for much of the season. Site index equals 5-1. The tension reportedly began during a trip to Pittsburgh for Tammy's skin removal surgery, when Amy left the trip early, claiming that Tammy and their half-sister, Amanda Halterman, were bullying her. Site Tammy, for her part, has publicly offered a very different account of the same events. Site index equals 5-1. In a December 2025 episode, Tammy said that the last time she and Amy were together, the two got into a major argument, and that she felt Amy had abandoned her in Pittsburgh, while Amy, according to Tammy, characterized the situation as Tammy bullying her instead. That single trip, and the two competing versions of what happened there, has become one of the defining storylines of the current season, and it's essential context for understanding why any new development involving Amy tends to explode across social media within hours. This is a family whose most private conflicts have played out, quite literally, on national television, and whose fans feel a level of personal investment that goes far beyond typical celebrity gossip. Amy's physical health has remained a recurring subject of public conversation well after her initial surgery. Site index equals 4-1. Toward the end of Season 7, Amy weighed herself on an industrial scale and learned that she weighed 249 pounds, a number that led to public criticism suggesting she had gained weight back and wasn't focusing on her health. Site index equals 6-1. Amy has publicly responded to that criticism, addressing her efforts to manage her weight and take care of her health following a sarcastic comment from an online critic. Site. More recently, heading into the current season, site index equals 2-1, skin removal surgery has become a major storyline for Amy/site, mirroring the procedure her sister underwent in an earlier season. Site index equals 2-1. Reports indicate that Amy has shown off the results of her weight loss publicly, including images highlighting how dramatically her body has changed since audiences first met her. Site, the show's upcoming season, site index equals 2-1, confirmed to return on Tuesday, September 1st at 9 p.m. Eastern on TLC/site, is expected to address both her physical transformation and the ongoing fallout from her relationship with Tammy. It's against this backdrop, a family defined by extraordinary physical transformation, painful public divorce, a fast-moving new engagement, and a very public sisterly rift, that the latest wave of headlines and reactions has emerged. And in the next section, we're going to break down exactly what is confirmed about the most recent developments, what remains unverified or speculative, and how the family itself has responded. Tammy's own journey has been remarkable by any measure. Site index equals 7-1. Once weighing over 700 pounds and reliant on supplemental oxygen, Tammy has since lost more than 500 pounds, reaching a healthy weight in the range of 180 to 200 pounds following skin removal surgery. Her transformation has been widely covered as one of the most dramatic physical turnarounds in reality television history. Site index equals 7-1. Fans have described her new look as almost unrecognizable, and Tammy has also shown off cosmetic dental work completed as part of her broader transformation. On the relationship front, Side index equals 7-1. Tammy is now engaged to her girlfriend, Andrea Dalton, and the couple has gone public with their romance while reportedly planning to move in together. If you've followed 1,000-Pound Sisters even casually over the last 2 years, you already know this family does not do quiet. But even by Slaton family standards, the stretch running from mid-2024 through the summer of 2026 has been one of the most eventful and at times most alarming periods in the show's history. Let's walk through it chronologically, because the order these events happened in matters enormously to understanding where the family stands right now. The Safari Park Incident. Side index equals 18-1. In 2024, Amy Slaton was bitten on the arm by a camel through an open vehicle window while visiting Tennessee Safari Park in Alamo, Tennessee. /site, what started as a bizarre, almost darkly comic animal encounter turned serious fast. Side index equals 18-1. Amy and her then-boyfriend, now husband Brian Levorn, were both arrested at the scene after EMTs treated her wound, with reports indicating the arrests were on charges of drug possession and child endangerment. Given that Amy's children were reportedly in the vehicle at the time, /site, this incident did not stay in the past. As we'll get to shortly, it resurfaced repeatedly in family arguments throughout the following 2 years and became a talking point that Amy's own siblings used against her during subsequent conflicts. The wedding. According to entertainment reporting, side index equals 14-1, Amy Slaton married Brian Levorn on Halloween, October 31st, 2025. /site, the wedding itself became a flashpoint in the Amy-Tammy relationship before it even happened. Side index equals 14-1. Tammy was reportedly notably absent from the bridal party /site, and in a sneak peek of the corresponding episode, side index equals 14-1, Amy explained on camera that she chose not to select Tammy as her maid of honor /site, telling viewers, in Amy's own words, that at the end of the day it was her wedding and it wasn't about Tammy. Side index equals 14-1. Amy specifically cited anger over Tammy calling her a drag queen on social media and what she described as Tammy bossing her around. /site, the reconciliation moment. Despite the very public snub, the story didn't end there, and this is a critical detail a lot of clickbait coverage leaves out. Side index equals 13-1. Tammy ultimately did attend Amy's wedding, following the extended rift between the sisters /site, and according to a clip TLC shared on Instagram, side index equals 13-1, Tammy delivered what fans widely described online as a genuine and sincere apology at the event. /site viewer comments on that clip were overwhelming. Amy told Tammy she wasn't able to go because she had woken up with a panic attack and was afraid of being bitten by an alpaca, explaining that she has what she described as PTSD stemming from her earlier camel bite. /site side index equals 11-1. Tammy responded by telling Amy to grow up, and questioning how Amy could go to a pet store and adopt 12 cats but couldn't handle visiting an animal shelter where the animals are kept in cages. /site side index equals 18-1. Their brother, Chris Combs, later told a producer that he checked his phone and found roughly 180 messages between the two sisters going back and forth. The public response from Tammy. This wasn't the first time Tammy has had to address criticism about how she treats her sister. Side index equals 10-1. In December 2024, following an episode in which Tammy called Amy an ass on camera, Tammy posted a statement on Instagram stories addressing viewers who accused her of mistreating her family. /site in that statement. Side index equals 10-1. Tammy said she wished people understood what happens off camera that leads to her reactions on camera, while also acknowledging that she isn't always right and that she doesn't view herself as the villain or as a victim, just someone asking fans to get the full story before judging. /site side index equals 10-1. She went on to apologize specifically for the name she called Amy, while also explaining that she felt Amy had been acting recklessly and embarrassingly during the filming in question. /site side index equals 10-1. Fan reaction to that apology was mixed. Some viewers expressed continued support and pride in Tammy, while others remained unconvinced. /site. Putting the timeline together. So here is what we actually know, laid out plainly. Amy Slaton has spent the better part of 2 years navigating a very public divorce, a fast-moving new relationship, a legal incident involving her children, a wedding that nearly excluded her own sister, a tearful reconciliation, and a subsequent relapse into open, profanity-filled family conflict, all of it airing on national television. And all of it dissected in real time by an audience of millions. Site index equals 15-1. Entertainment outlets covering the show have specifically cataloged this stretch as containing some of the most explosive fights in the show's entire history. /site. What's important, and what a lot of sensationalized headlines strip away, is the emotional whiplash embedded in this timeline. This is not a simple, linear story of family turns on member. It is a story of repeated rupture and repeated repair, playing out among people who are, according to every available account, still deeply bonded to one another even when they are at their angriest. It's important, in a story like this, to draw a clear line between what has actually been confirmed through on-camera footage, official statements, and verified reporting, versus what is speculation, fan theory, or unconfirmed tabloid chatter. Here is that line, drawn as clearly as we can draw it. Confirmed. Tammy Slaton's 2024 arrest at Tennessee Safari Park on charges reported as drug possession and child endangerment, alongside Brian Levorn. Confirmed. Amy and Brian's marriage on Halloween 2025. Confirmed. Tammy's initial absence from the bridal party, followed by her attendance and apology at the wedding itself. Confirmed. The January 2026 group chat conflict, aired on the show and confirmed via TLC's own promotional trailer. Confirmed. Tammy's December 2024 public statement addressing criticism of how she treats her family. Reported but not independently verified beyond entertainment media coverage. The exact substance and outcome of the 2024 legal charges against Amy and Brian, meaning whether those charges resulted in convictions, dismissals, or plea agreements, is not something we can confirm with certainty from publicly available entertainment reporting. And we want to be transparent about that rather than speculate. Similarly, characterizations of Brian Levorn's behavior as a red flag reflect the opinions and interpretations of entertainment commentators and portions of the fanbase, not a confirmed factual finding about him as a person. Speculative and explicitly labeled as such by us, any claims about what may happen in unaired footage from the current or upcoming season, any predictions about whether Amy and Tammy's relationship will improve or deteriorate further, and any assumptions about the current, real-time emotional state of family members beyond what they have said publicly. We're not going to pretend to know what's inside anyone's head. What we can tell you is what has been shown, said, and reported, and let you draw your own conclusions from there. This distinction matters more than it might seem. A story like this lives or dies, in terms of trust, on whether the audience can tell the difference between this happened and this is what people online think happened. We're committed to keeping that line visible throughout the rest of this video.